it will be very practical workshop. We'll show you how to do it in our configurator, how to do it in WeAlone, how to install and how to connect, and we'll be answering, as I already said, your technical questions. Even if you think that the question is very technical, feel free to make it, because actually this workshop is held to answer all your technical doubts and questions. So I think we can get started. I don't see how many people are there with us. Okay, I think enough. Okay. I think we'll be starting with a short introduction, what to do, and when you receive our devices, and how to start working with our devices. And I will give the floor to our technical support manager, Dmitry Sitnikov. He will be explaining all this in details, and I will try to complete. Babu from India. Hello, yes. Babu. Hello. I thought, Babu, you are from Malaysia, honestly. Okay. So, Timo, I think you can get started.
Yes. So, what should do everyone who receive actually any tracking device, any sensor, everything that's somehow connected with the telematic business, with navigation and stuff like that, after the receiving, after he finally have an opportunity to work with the equipment that was ordered. First of all, for sure, we in Neomatica recommend you to test the equipment, to start it, to install it in the office. Why you should do that? Of course, before we send anything to you, to our partners, to our clients, or every equipment go through various tests, very harsh tests, but sometimes delivery itself plays not the best role in the device conditions. Your equipment may be damaged, may be stored in an inappropriate way. Some humidity may affect. So the tracking device that we send to you and you receive may be not the same one, actually. So first of all, you need to power up your device. You need to check if we are talking about, for example, ADM333 or ADM007. You need to check the navigation. You need to check server connection. You need to, I think, be sure that SMS messages works correctly with your cell phone operator, because we have right now a lot of experience when in new countries for us and maybe for our equipment, we meet different specific of cell phone operators, of how they work with GSM signal, what they do with it, how they analyze all the information that goes from the tracking device to the cellular system and stuff like that. The second part is dedicated to periphery, to secondary functions of your device that may be used in your case, in your installation. Like if you want to try to use ADM333 with the BLE sensors like ADM31, like ADM32, for example, sure, we would like to recommend you to connect them in office, to set them up and check if everything goes well. The same thing for fuel level sensors and every stuff. Once you are sure that everything works in office, it works okay or works just perfect, you may be sure that on the object it will work at least half such good as it was in office. You may be sure that some installation or, for example, something in environment may affect the device functionality. The malfunction, if you meet something like that, is not about the bad quality of the device. And for sure, if you find some problem, the device, I don't know, maybe constantly reloading or losing signal of any sensor, or maybe just you cannot set it up, you may ask me, you may ask Kseniya, you may ask anybody in Neomatica.
Better him in this case.
Yes, maybe. To share with you some ideas, to share with you some assistance, and try to figure it out. Why does this situation happen?
And we also can pre-configure, preset, and pre-program your device. This option exists, always exists. If you want us to do all this in our office here in Russia, we can do this voluntarily and with pleasure, because we have such requests. And if something seems to you too sophisticated, complicated, just feel free to ask us about this. We can do this. However, you should always get prepared and get ready before going with your devices to the object, because we have many cases when clients after receiving our devices, they go immediately to the object, to their clients, and sometimes they have problems, issues, and they don't understand what's happening, because actually this is the first and maybe one of the most important steps you should take before installing, configuring something and trying something on your object in the field conditions. So, and now you are going to talk about configuration, I think.
I believe, yes, we can talk about configuration, and I'll start some screen sharing in this case.
So now we are going to talk about how to configure our GPS trackers.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In our configurator. Our configurator is available at our website. You can download it without any problem for free. And we have a mobile version of this configurator. You can download it from Google Play and use it on your smartphone, on your tablet.
Yeah, Android.
Android, yes. Android is actually
our basic platform.
Yeah, our basic platform. And we do not have, unfortunately, application for iOS. However, we are thinking of creating something for iOS as well.
Yeah, exactly. So the first thing that you will see after yes, and maybe I even think that we can start from our website. So it will be good to show you that
where to find it. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's not so obvious.
And how we can assist you in this case. Yes. I think I should stop the sharing and show you how does it work. Yes, the website of Neomatica company. If you are starting to work with our device the very first time, support tab, at least I hope, so we'll help you a lot. We'll guide you through this, maybe not so easy sometimes. We understand it and we appreciate your assistance in the dimension of constantly improving our experience in this case.
We go to configurator.
Yes,
right?
we go to configurator. Here you can find the full installer in case of you also would like to update your framework, or if you if the framework version is already the last one, you may use web installer. It's it is more you know, more
advanced?
Not advanced, it's just the size of it.
A lightweight version.
Yeah, lightweight
right? Okay.
version, exactly.
Sorry.
Hello, you can get it. Also the Android software and some other configurators that we will discuss next time. So after the ADM configurator, the last version at the moment is 2.4.7. We are working with wireless tracking devices. So right now we will choose the Bluetooth connection method. It's easy to find because the icon is the same. So here we already had some digits. We talked about them, but I think we can just repeat it because this information is crucial and useful. You can give the application an opportunity and chance to catch your device signal automatically. But in our case, when we have two different trackers and want to work with one specifically, we will use, as you can see, IMEI, last 4 digits of IMEI to to find proper device. In case of our tracking device, these numbers are required one.
They correspond to ADM333 or ADM007?
ADM007.
007. Our very basic GPS tracker.
Yes. So here you can see the monitoring panel of our tracking device.
This one.
Yes.
I don't know whether you can see it
yes,
properly, but we are doing this with this very small GPS tracker.
Here you can see the device model, the firmware. I should make stress on this moment because firmware versions are constantly improving, and I'd like to recommend you always to keep in touch with us about it and keep your device version actual, because we always bring a lot of fixes, a lot of new features and stuff. Firmware version will save you from some experience that we maybe would like you to avoid.
How can they update firmware?
Update the firmware. There are different opportunities. You can use the command. You can send it from the like this update.
Okay.
From the configurator, you might send the same command update from SMS, from GPRS server, from your telematics server, and also when you connect the tracking device to the configurator, it will automatically offer you the latest firmware version update if detects that your tracker does not have the latest version. For example, if we will update our tracker to the firmware version of 07 instead of 08, the configurator will automatically warn us about it and suggest to make the correctives. Yeah. So here we can see the basic information like UTC time, latitude, longitude. There is no data because we are in the building, in the room with no chance to catch the signal right now. So GSM signal level, actually very useful stuff because sometimes you may meet situations when the device just cut the connection with the GPRS server, with your telematics server, and you may think about why did it, what happened, and just some signal level may show you that maybe in some area, there were no GSM signal. This is why connection was just impossible. The next step is settings. Here we can see device settings, basic device name, password for some protective needs, and this is what I would like to show you, not show you about, what I would like to talk with more details.
Forget what if they forget the password?
Yes.
Yeah, the very common case.
Yes, any protective system like that has its own pros and cons. In this case, the only opportunity for you to erase the password is server. If you have an access to the device in the server, we may conduct some procedure that will allow to erase passwords, erase all the data from the tracking device, but will give us opportunity to take the control under the device back. But if you do not have an access to the device in the server, please try to erase password before such thing happens, or try to make it at least somehow common for you. So we will have a chance to recollect it somehow.
But we can also check our logs.
Yes, we can check our logs, but
it's not very reliable.
Yes, exactly. And we're trying to protect our partners as good as possible. This is why we are against of common passwords. This is why we are against of some general engineering password that will allow us to have access to any tracking device, because in one moment someone will need this information. Sure, we can always refresh it, but there is no guarantee. In this case, only one man who set this password, or at least have an access to the tracking device in the server, can erase this password, can control this device. Even we cannot make it. So you are protected in every dimension possible.
Better not to forget.
Yes, better not to forget. It always, I think, good suggestion. Also, SIM settings like APN and stuff. We have operator preset, but these operators are common in Russia. Actually, if you want us to add some operator here, you can send a request and we will be happy to adjust these settings to your to the form you want to see. Yes, our APN settings, we should not underestimate it because various operators work with APN in different way. In Russia, we have cell phone operators that will not allow you to update device or even connect to the server if APN wasn't set correctly when you configure the device. This is why we always try to
do it manually.
Yes, we do it manually. We always suggest you to check it one more time. Server settings consists of hosting presets and transmitting data blocks setting. The first one is very simple. You may set the server you want to work with. Here we can have our testing server, Neomatica Violon, for example. Also, as you can see, in the address field, you may use IP or domain name, like test Neomatica. And sure, you can set the protocol of data transmission, ADM, M2M, or common for Russia, EGTS, but not in BLE devices in the ADM007 or ADM333 without BLE. Yes, and transmitting data blocks actually may be one of the most common, not issue, but maybe tricky moment that meet our partners. For example, you set your ADM31, you set the violent preset, and found out that you have no data from the ADM31. You can see it in the configurator, but you cannot see anything like temperature, humidity, illumination in the server. I can guarantee you that this happened because of this setting, because ADM31 data, for instance, are transmitting in CAN data block, this one. If you want to use fuel level sensors, I think it's pretty easy to manage that fuel fields are responsible for this data. The same stuff for analog input. If you use analog inputs of ADM333 or analog input of ADM007 and cannot see any data, you need to check is analog inputs activated or not. In the configurator, this setting looks like that, but also we can check it with command. The command looks like protocol. In our case, we have protocol 104, navigation data, analog inputs, CAN and fuel.
Everything is enabled.
Yes, everything is enabled. And track settings, maybe we even need to review them in a separate video, because this configuration is, I do not afraid such word tough, is very flexible, especially when we use advanced mode. As you can see, we can set even such hard to understand parameter like deflection, and I think we will talk about it later, not within this webinar. And finally, we move to the periphery inputs. Here you can see the voltage of analog input that connected right here. We can use it as a discrete to bind the coordinate fixation mode to it to avoid GPS drifting and stuff like that. And I think the most interesting moment is connected with Bluetooth. Here in the ADM configurator, you may configure your device and connect various BLE sensors to it. We just set find nearest because, as you can see, every sensor is located within 5 or 10 centimeters from the tracking device, and just press one button, start auto configuration. We want to set all of them. We do not afraid to catch anything additionally.
We have here 4 sensors, right?
Yes.
We have 2 ADM31, temperature, humidity, light, and magnetic field, yes, 4 parameters. We have one wireless inclination sensor, and we have one Escort TDBLE wireless fuel level sensor.
Yes, and you can see their values already. Temperature for one sensor, temperature for the second sensor. Escort, we're still, yes, and we found ADM32. You can also see some additional values like voltage of the battery, RSSI level, signal strength. If you want to mark it in 2 words. And yeah, we can stop auto configuration. This is what we wanted to do. You can erase sensors just with 2 clicks, apply configuration, and we have nothing. Also, you may conduct the very same logic from via commands. In this case, we will use BLE auto catch command. You can see that BLE configuration is started. It will last 120 seconds. Device type 255. That means that we are looking for any device that is supported by ADM07, and our RSI filter is equal to -60 dBm. Here you can also see in live how we are connecting different sensors. This is how it works. You may, as we already said, configure the device fully in very similar way by SMS, GPRS commands, or Bluetooth commands from the configurator, from some Bluetooth terminals that's supported by Android devices. In this case, we will recommend Android because Google operation system is much more much more comfortable than Android, iOS in this case. It's easy to understand, I believe, and there are much more different opportunities that allowed you basically.
And free opportunities.
And free, yes.
Because in iOS, as far as you know, everything is...
Not everything, but
many
yes,
things.
Yes. For example, when I try to find good Bluetooth scanner, I found some of them, but none of them were cheap, and none of them were free at all. So I think we can move to the violin and maybe show you how it's looking. It may be depicted in violin. So query message, raw messages from our GPS tracker. I think we can answer.
Yeah, sure.
Is it possible with APN setting to just enter APN name? Yes, you can set just APN name without login or password. Just leave them blank and no problem. Also, you may use SIM cards with PIN code or without it. It depends on you. ADM devices support such functionality and there will be no issues. Yes, and yeah, this message contains ADC fields and fuel fields that are responsible, as I already said, for analog input data like 11.97. It's the voltage that we detect on the analog input, and ADC2 31 value. It is percentage of GSM signal quality. That means that it's slightly low than 50%. I think we can set
another question from Gavin.
Yes.
If we use Neomatica server in configuration, how do we create an account for testing?
Gavin, in this case, we would like
to guide you.
To guide you, yes.
Fully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the
best
answer.
Yeah. Because actually we are doing all this based on We Alone.
Yeah.
Because We Alone maybe is the spreadest telematic platform used with our devices and by our clients, and it's really advanced. We can show you all this really brightly and stress all positive moments. However, you can still use our server, which is, I would say, more modest, more humble. However, however, it's less expensive if we are talking about some commercial things. However, it's possible. But if you want to do it, just get in touch with Dima, and he will guide you for the first time, and then you will be able to do it on your own.
Yes, and we can see some additional records with fuel level equal to 1 because we have no fuel at the moment. Temperature of the fuel probe in Celsius, and CAN fields that are responsible for, yes, our sensors ADM31 and ADM32. As you can see, CAN1 and CAN4 stands for ADM32, CAN6 to CAN15 stays for these two devices, and CAN26, CAN27, CAN28. Here we are presenting you the fuel level sensor information. In this case, it's fuel level sensor battery in voltage. It should be divided by 10. So it's actually 3.5. But in next firmware, we will place here RSI level, because as we can see, RSI level appears to be more important information.
Just like GSM signal strength.
Yes. We still will allow you to know is battery voltage low or is not low. is okay, is fine, but in slightly different way. This will be, yeah, I think this will be discussed in our manual, yeah, in the next version of manual. Yes, yes, there were basic moments of how to set ADM device. Actually, you could see the whole process from receiving it, powering up, to receiving data in the on the server in Violon, and also sensor connection. There, I hope there were nothing hard and maybe tough stuff to understand, to work with.
We will not be showing at this webinar how to use sensors autonomously.
Yes.
Why? Because this was actually, this has already been done at our first webinar about wireless sensor, because our very first webinar was about only wireless sensors, and we were talking about how to use them autonomously. We were showing the mobile application, and we were talking in detail how to connect, how to improve RSSI, what to do, what not to do. And here we would like just to talk about the whole solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we understand that you are all here very professional telematic experts, and in most of cases, such people are using and will be using these devices together, because you can always use sensors autonomously, but it will not bring you to the result you usually used to have, and you like actually, because you all want to use a platform, professional platform. So we understand it.
Yes, and now I think we can move to
the installation.
Yes. About the installation, there are, of course, there are different projects, there are different cases, and very unusual sometimes situations within you need to use GPS trackers. Tracking devices still are sensitive for some moments. So we basically the best way to locate the GPS tracking device within the vehicle is to put it right under the right under the front window of the car. This will be the best. The best positioning, because there will be nothing, just glass between the tracking device and satellite signal. In Neomatica, we are experiencing these devices in very different, and sometimes I think I can say it with no doubts, harsh conditions, like under the
dashboard,
under the dashboard, under
the vehicle,
the metal, some metal boxes that we put into the car as slow as it possible.
In very hot
yes.
Countries, just like in the Central Africa, we have many clients right now in Zambia and Zimbabwe, and the climate is very adverse in these countries, as well as in Russia, in the contrary, in very cold conditions as well, because we have some devices which are used in the very north of Russia, and they still survive.
The most, I think, important and fundamental issue that may appear during the device installation is problem that tracking device does not detect any satellite signal or detect, but very few, 1, 2, or 3 satellites at the moment.
What is the normal number of satellites?
It depends on the installation.
But the average number.
The average, I think, ADM devices usually demonstrates something like 15. 15, yeah. 10 GPS and 5 GLONASS satellites. It's something average, yeah. In this case, we would like to, first of all, we would like to, would like you to check jamming, because jamming is very big problem within installation when we are talking about this process. Because, for instance, in Russia, we have such truck monitoring system like Plato, the same as Greek philosopher. Yeah, it's maybe it's ironic, pretty ironic. Yeah, and for sure, some of the drivers, they are jamming this system because they are not about to pay additional money because they use the road, they travel a lot, and they should pay some tax according to these events. So they are jamming the Plato, and sometimes they just add tracking devices that maybe they want to add by themselves. Sometimes these jammers are fully accepted by the CEOs of these organizations that gives the job to the driver. And these jammers may also affect tracking devices. We met some such problem, and we resolved it with tracking device relocating. So please do not forget about additional equipment that you already has installed in the tracking in the vehicle. Tachographs also sometimes affect the performance. Wi-Fi when we are talking about Bluetooth, for example, because the bands they are equal, 2.4 in case of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi also. And for sure, we do not recommend you to install a tracking device in the area with high electromagnetic fields. It will inevitably affect the GSM quality, GPS signal quality also, and may even lead to the device malfunction, general, like physical. And when we are talking about fuel level sensors and our temperature sensors, wireless, there are also some features, some additional suggestions that you may use during the installation. For instance, when we are talking about ADM sensors, we recommend you to locate them
to direct the antennas, right?
Yes, the antenna, you can...
Where are they located, actually, antennas?
I think I can show it like that.
Yeah.
The part that is cut.
Okay.
Yes, this is where the antenna located.
This transparent hemisphere.
Yes, exactly.
Is the place where the antennas are located, and these antennas should be always directed to the
tracking device.
To the tracking device. It's important because even me, as a commercial person, I had lots of questions and issues regarding this and I know it now.
It may give you additional, I think, 1 or 2 meters of general coverage of the device.
Proximity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if you know that the trailer that you will use generally is full, so there are a lot of products in it.
Boxes, some stuff.
It's better to mount the sensor on the top of the refrigerator, on the top of the trailer. So these boxes, these products will not generate additional obstacles. Because if we are talking about, I don't know, maybe some even metal boxes, it will decrease coverage dramatically. Also, what we can say...
We were actually talking about the installation of GPS trackers, and we're discussing how to install them properly. However, we did not mention actually the installation process of the sensors, because the standard way for installing these sensors actually is based on screws. They have special holes for screwing them onto some surfaces. However, there are still some specific clients who don't want to use screws, who want to use an adhesive tape, for example, a tape. Actually, you can use a tape, but you should choose this tape properly, because not any tape survive at some hot temperatures and some high humidity under some really adverse and harsh conditions. So we in Neomatica, we recommend to do it, to install these sensors with usual screws, and I think it will be better in this case. So I think that was the installation process, and I think we mentioned actually all problematic points.
Maybe I would like a little moment about the device, maybe even debugging, let it be so, about how to manage what's happening with the device if you experience some problems. What we would like you to share with me as with technical support, or with our develop department, so we will be able to understand where does the problem lay and how we can figure it out.
And I would like just to complete our webinar with just maybe 2 or 3 words about fuel level sensor. The first thing, we do not produce fuel level sensors in Neomatica. Our GPS trackers are all compatible with Escort fuel level sensors, wireless fuel level sensors by Technoton. As well, you can use Escort, Technoton as you wish. And actually, since we do not produce them, we actually do not talk here about the installation configuration process. We mentioned how to configure fuel level sensor in our configurator, how to connect it. However, actually be aware of that at the website of these manufacturers. You will be able to check the full information regarding how to install these sensors, because just one point, I know that you know, but just in case, I would like to highlight, when we are talking about wireless fuel level sensors, we do not mean that you will not have to drill the tank. Because you will have to drill the tank, because in this case, these sensors are not ultrasonic, something like this. They are wireless in the meaning of their connection with the GPS tracker, only in this. However, this drilling process is something really special, and it may really, such a discussion will take lots of time, so we are not talking about this right now. However, you can watch videos on YouTube how to install a wireless fuel sensor. Escort company, Technoton company, they have these videos, they have this material, they are all available. We don't think that we really need to show you, to tell you about this. So, and I think maybe we are up with all our points we wanted to.
Yes, I want just to add a moment about how to work with our devices if you meet some issues.
Okay.
If at least it looks like an issue or some inappropriate behavior of the tracking device.
List of mostly frequently asked questions.
Yes.
Okay.
The first one will be dedicated to the first one and the only, actually, about how to work with ADM devices in this dimension. But I think we would like, yes, we would like to answer Amadou questions before continue. Are you connecting weight sensor, spring or leaf? Could you purchase sensors directly from Neomatica to avoid manage to extra shipping, etc.?
Sure, Amadou, it's possible.
About the weight sensors, Amadou, right now we are supporting Technoton access load sensor, and actually we will be happy to support additional functionality in this case.
Yeah.
If you found these two models or these two manufacturers, I'm sorry, I don't know, spring or leaf, useful for you, and you think that you can use these equipment with our tracking device, we'll be happy to support, because in this dimension we are very open. We are happy to
share our protocol.
Yes, share our protocol, give you an opportunity to work with our tracking devices and additional periphery of any kind.
I think in Technoton, they have two kinds.
Yes,
they have two kinds, both, and they now have two types of wireless sensors in Technoton. I checked it recently. I saw that
we support one that's called GNOM.
Yes, GNOM, actually.
Yeah,
GNOM, yeah. And I don't remember whether it's leaf or spring, this one.
I'm afraid I do not.
I'm
unable to.
But I think this information, we can discuss it after the webinar, because we have some projects where our clients are using our GPS trackers with their axle load sensors, wireless axle load sensors. And that's very interesting as a solution.
Just to confirm that the ADM007 will not support BLE sensors, but the ADM007BLE will. Yes, it will.
Sure. The difference is that all our GPS trackers without these three magic letters BLE, they are not wireless.
Yes.
And they have Bluetooth, but a different kind of Bluetooth, Bluetooth 3.0.
Yeah.
This Bluetooth is good for connected a wireless headset, for example, or for configured these GPS trackers in your smartphone, for example.
But it does not support low energy
because
standard.
The coverage of this Bluetooth is very humble in this case.
Yeah.
It's not about 100 meters, even not about 10 meters, I think. 10 meters maybe, yeah. But if we are talking, and when we are talking about really long refrigerators, trailers, these GPS trackers will not be able to detect anything in this case.
Yes, and we are back to this dimension about how to work with ADM devices. First of all, I think maybe the most easy to manage, easy to understand, and to work with is LED indication. Here you can see that we have two LEDs, the blue and the green one, that blinks, actually. These indication marks their own status. Yeah. The blue one is responsible for GSM status, and the green one for GPS. So here we can see that blue LED blinks one time and turning off, blinks one time and turning off. That means that GSM works okay, that we have GSM signal at all, that we have GPRS signal, and we are connected to the server. The tracking device are connected to the server. The green one blinks twice. That means that it has GPS signal, but it detects the signal as invalid. Why does it detect GPS signal? Because we are in the office where we have a retranslator for GPS in case to check some of our devices inside the office. The second moment after you check these, more about the indication you may read in our manual. There are, I think, one page that
about
fully
colors, what they mean, and so on and so on.
Fully dedicated to this moment.
Yeah.
The next one is configurator. I think I should share screen one more time, and here we have commands section that you are already familiar with, and in the dimensions section you may see the debug mode button. We can use it, and now everything turns gray. In the right on the right side of the screen, you may see different numbers and words. These numbers and words are debugging channel. You can receive the very basic, the very raw information about what's happening inside the device with this functionality. This will help us, this will help you to understand on what step does device experience some problems, where does the tracker meet the issue, the obstacle that does not allow it to go further and start work fully in a full way, fully correct. You can monitor MADAM, it's GSM apart. You may monitor GPS, Bluetooth, and so on. Very not they may be very easy, but it's I think the most important information that we may receive at all as a technical support department, to allow you to not to allow you, for sure, to help you to deal with problem, to understand it, and make some effective steps. And the last moment, it's about server representation, and the most underrated, I think, field among all of them, among all that ADM devices send, its I/O fields. You can see there some strange number with, I think, that will not say you anything. But this number is actual device status. This status marks various device. I don't know how to say it. Various device
behavior.
Yes, maybe behavior. Various statuses of every device function. For example, you may see was device reloaded or not. You may see is coordinates fixated now, are fixed, sorry, now or not. You may understand what SIM card is working at the moment. For instance, when we are talking about ADM333 that has 2 different SIM cards, you may understand what source of time tracking device using at the moment. Is it GSM time or GPS time? Also jamming detection, also interference detection. For other models like ADM300 is casing of the device damaged or opened, for instance.
And we have, this is why at the end of each manual, we have the very long chart, which actually explains the meaning of each status.
Yes, and it's hard to understand this status because it's in hexadecimal. You need to translate, I think it, transfer it to decimal system, and then try to match the mask of values that we present you in the manual and here. So right now I'm preparing a document that I really hope so will help you to work with status of ADM devices and understand it, and found it useful, and help you to understand them in more low and basic and fundamental level than maybe it was before. Actually, I hope this webinar will help you in this, and these additional documents will make the same.
Yeah.
I believe that's all I have.
Yes, I think even we discussed some frequently asked questions, and I see that you do not have questions anymore, because actually you should always know if you have some doubts, please feel free to get in touch with us before doing something on your own and maybe spoiling the device or damaging it or doing something irreversible. And because we are always open, and you know that we are always available, and if we do not answer the first 10 or 15 minutes after your question, it does not mean that we do not work, because we'll be available very soon for sure, and we'll get in touch with you